Lots of questions for you to get through, Martin, as always, as always. But first, let's talk about an article in the Times this morning. The headline is very bold. It says premium bonds are now best paying savings account. So that's what people want, to make the interest rates, to make the savings accounts work in their favour if they've got money to save. Is that headline as good as it looks, or as simple as it looks?
No, definitely not. So we have had an announcement that the premium bond prize fund rate will rise to 3% in January.
Right.
There are a number of things about...
That sounds good.
It does, and it is good. And so what they're doing is they're comparing that 3% rate for the January premium bonds to today's top easy access savings, which is around 2.85%.
Right.
But of course, that doesn't mean that's what the rate will be in January. And in fact, as we're likely to have a UK base rate rise this week, where base rates will move from 3%, it's predicted to 3.5%, it's very likely the top easy access accounts in January will be more than 3%.
Right.
So by the time that the premium bond rate goes up, I would suspect it would not be the rate. So you can't get that until January. And it's also worth remembering, I could get into all differences like mean and median averages, but I won't do it here. You can go and read stuff I've written on that. Yeah, Laura, come on, the difference between mean and median, Laura.
Mean is the middle and median...
No, median's the middle.
Median's the middle. I'll let you carry on.
Median's
so, all right, so if we...
Quiet, get back to your lily pads.
I know that mode is the most, mean, medium and mode.
So mean is if you add everything up and you divide it by the number of people.
Yeah.
Median is if you lined everybody up in a row and you took the middle person. And the best way to look at premium bonds is to say, what would the median person win? What would someone with typical luck win? Now, with typical luck, you will always win less than the prize rate, because for everybody who wins £1 million, quite a lot of people have to win a lot less.
Yeah.
And so if you've got less than £4,000 with typical luck, you're likely to win a lot less than the prize rate.
Right.
If you've got over £4,000 up to the maximum £50,000, you're going to get closer to the 3% prize rate. But with typical luck, you'll earn less than the 3%. Some will always earn more, some will earn less. And the top easy access savings account in January are likely to pay more than 3%, and the top fixed rates accounts are likely to pay even more. So premium bonds tend to be good for people who pay tax on savings, which most people don't. Higher rate taxpayers and those who can get close to the maximum in, they're not as good for putting small amounts in and if you don't pay tax on savings. And it is far more complicated than it just beats top easy access rates.
OK,
but
all right.
But that's a very short summary and I could probably do an hour-long programme on it.
OK, now Estelle's been in touch on Twitter. She says, any idea when we get the £200 for having to use LPG?
Well, every single show I have done, we have always had that question, and I finally have an answer.
Oh, great.
But it's not a great answer. It's an answer. So what I have now heard is payments will be made as soon as possible in the new year. So we have confirmation you will not be getting payments in December. We don't know when it will be coming through. Now, this are payments. This is £200 promised to those who have LPG or heating oil instead of mains gas in their homes. Now, the payment will come via your electricity firm, but I'll just read to you what is really going on here and why the delay. There is no central register in Great Britain or Northern Ireland of people who do not use mains gas for their heating. Therefore, we, the government, are working at pace with stakeholders to identify the best method of identifying eligible customers and making payments to them in a way that's as easy as possible. So the issue here is £200 has been promised, but they don't know who should get it, and that's what's causing the delay.
Oh, gosh.
I hope this will be sorted in the new year.
So, but it does mean that if you've been promised it, you will get it.
If you have LPG and heating oil, you should get it.
You should get it.
The payment, as long as you have mains electricity, should come from your electricity firm, but obviously the electricity firm has nothing to do with your LPG and heating oil, hence the problem. If you don't have mains electricity, it gets even trickier, but most people have mains electricity. OK,
Ronnie has sent a note saying Shell Energy. So Ronnie has received a note from Shell Energy Gas, and it says that gas is going to be going up 70%, and electricity is increasing over 100% in January. So Ronnie is saying, please advise with regard to the energy price guarantee. Does this end on the 1st of April, and we then have to move on to these new higher tariffs? I mean, those look like huge increases.
They are.
And unexplained as well.
And I know what that is. So I know what that confusion is. Let me just talk generically what's happening to energy prices for everybody before I answer the specifics of that question.
OK.
In January,
Yeah.
There will be slight tinkering to the prices most people pay, varying by the region and whether you pay by direct debit, you're on a prepayment meter, or you're paying receipt of bills, because the underlying price cap that the price guarantee discounts has changed. The biggest change you'll expect is about a 4% change. Some people will pay more, some people will pay less.
Okay.
But that's around a 4% change maximum. For most people, the variance will be less than 1%, so you probably won't notice. Then in April, we're going to see the energy price guarantee rise by an average of 20%. So that's when the big rise will come, and that's across all different payment sectors. I know people want the exact rates. They're not published yet. I can't give you them. All I can tell you is an average of 20% rise. So why, you will ask me, is someone hearing 70% and 100%?
Yes.
I would be almost certain that this is a confusion between the direct debit you pay and the cost of energy itself. The rates I'm talking about are the underlying cost for each unit and standing charge of energy that you have. But the amount that you pay for your energy, if you pay by direct debit, monthly direct debit, which most people do, is based on an estimate of your usage. So the firm is estimating your usage has gone up and is therefore increasing your direct debits by 70 to 100% to cover it. Now, that may not be right, and in many occasions it is not right. What I suggest you do, if you're in debt and you've been building up a debt with them, then that's probably the reason they need to put it up. If you're in credit, and most people should be in credit at this time of the year, and they're putting it up by that amount, there is a disjoin. What I'd do is I'd go online to a direct debit calculator, which will give you a decent estimate of what your direct debit should be. If that shows that this new rate is vastly over the top, then you want to get in touch with them and ask them to justify it. I think they could argue we're putting it up for the next year because of the 20% rise that's likely to come in April. That's arguable. They probably shouldn't be doing that, but it's arguable. But it would really have to be justified by you have had a much bigger increase in usage and you've run in energy debt. And if they can't justify that, then that rise is wrong. So I'm pretty sure that will be confusion between rate and direct debit.